Occupli, the largest Irish-based international provider of environmental health and safety, training, consultancy, recruitment, food safety and carbon services. Hi there, you're very welcome to the Occupli Podcast. I'm John Drummie and today I'm joined by Mairead McCarthy, who is the General Manager of the Food Safety Company, which is an Occupli company. How are you?
I'm good, really good. Thanks, John.
So you've General Manager for a few years, but you've been involved with the Food Safety Company, 13 years?
Yeah, going on 13 years. Initially, I joined as a food safety consultant and trainer, and I've been in the role of General Manager since 2017.
What does a food safety consultant and trainer do?
So we work with all types of food businesses, from your startup food businesses that are working within the home or selling at a farmer's market, right up to kind of your larger scale producers. And our role is very varied. We're responsible for supporting a client in ensuring compliance. So there are a few different areas. There's training, documentation and food safety inspections. And the purpose of the inspections then are to highlight any issues or any gaps in terms of compliance, and we support the business with resolving those issues.
Do businesses come to you, or do you maybe how does the pairing of work come about?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mixture. A lot of our business actually comes from referrals, and it always has, which is a good sign. And but we're still very active in terms of marketing. So we attend a lot of the food conferences. We support many of the farmers markets. We're involved with a lot of the SkillNet Ireland associations. So we're there supporting businesses from startup right up to your larger manufacturing clients.
We are what we eat, aren't we? So,
we sure are, yeah.
So we want to be in the best condition based on what we eat and that everything is safe.
We do, and we're very lucky here in Ireland because we have, the highest standards in place. We are what we eat, and we're lucky in Ireland in that a lot of our food items are produced to the higher standards, and that's enforced from a regulatory perspective, whether you're a fish processor or a meat producer or a restaurant or a nursing home. The standards generally in Ireland is really, really high.
And do the standards vary depending on the food involved, or does it have to be of a right across the board?
There's typically most food businesses fall under a certain type of regulation, but for businesses that are producing food of an animal origin, so for instance any meat or fish producers, they would come under a higher level of regulation, and that's Regulation 853 of 2004. And that type of regulation can be very challenging, particularly for small businesses to try and navigate. And I suppose really that's where our services come in to support and to consult and to guide a business through that approval process, and also after the approval process in terms of maintenance of that standard.
I mean, a lot of people would go to a solicitor, or they'd go to an accountant to help them with their those aspects of the business.
Yeah.
This is no different, really.
Yeah, that's it. It's outsourcing an element of the business. So we have a team of 25 food safety consultants and trainers, and they come from a variety of backgrounds, from food scientists to agricultural scientists. We actually have a number of qualified environmental health officers on the team. And our role really is to support and guide a business with whatever their compliance issues or concerns might be.
You mentioned 853 of 2000.
Yeah.
Was it 2004?
2004.
That's a long time. That's over 20 years. Is that of the year, or were there others that are there longer? How does the regulation definition occur? What's the...
Yeah, that relates to legislation from 2004. So that legislation was brought in at a European level, and it identifies the requirements for production, and that includes everything from your structure, your staff, your training, your job specifications, and the approval process around that. So we support our clients with all elements of it.
I suppose, yeah, I think 2004 was 10 countries joined the EU. So
That's
a
right.
timely, opportune time to bring something
Absolutely.
in like that. Are there other regulations that predate that, or those that have come in afterwards that people have to find themselves compliant with?
Yeah, there were regulations in place prior to that. And I suppose with regards to regulations, they're constantly changing and evolving. And it's important as a compliance manager or quality manager that you keep abreast of new regulations and new requirements. And that also can be very challenging for business, staying abreast of new and challenging regulations. But our team are fully briefed in updates and can support the business as and when required.
There's a bakery on every, in every village, in every corner, in every supermarket now. I know you mentioned the fish and the meat and the dairy, but talk about bakery for a bit. Why is it so important that the services there are looked after and have the support of the likes of the Food Safety Company?
Yeah, we're very lucky in Ireland. We have a lot of local bakeries within kind of our larger towns and many within our cities. And many of those bakeries are family run, small bakeries, maybe operating for 7 or 8 hours per day. Our services are particularly suited to that type of business where they have a requirement for quality services, but perhaps mightn't have a requirement on a full-time basis. And our team of consultants or one of our consultants can provide that quality service, whether it's a half day a week or a day every fortnight. So as and when required, and it eliminates the need to take or to recruit a full-time quality person, which can be very costly in terms of recruitment and salary costs. So our services really provide a cost-effective solution.
And it's efficient as well, isn't it?
It's efficient, exactly. So our team are experienced in terms of the management of bakeries. We're working with several small and large bakeries on a national level, and we can advise on best practice as well as ensuring that there's consistency and quality in terms of production.
And would it be similar in fish? Again, people, if you think of the fisherman, fisherwoman, they're every couple of days they're out at sea and then they're back in again. Yeah. So there mightn't be a need for a full-time person there either.
Exactly. So requirements can change depending on the season or depending on customer orders or even supply levels, as you mentioned, John. So our services can adapt to that. We're available on a part-time basis, and that frequency can be increased or decreased as and when required. So it means you're not over-resourced.
Your clients, as you mentioned, they range from very small maybe to the much bigger companies. I'm just thinking of somebody who's faced with all this paperwork that they suddenly need to do. Is there any particular example of how you have helped somebody that maybe somebody watching this or listening to this might think, I need you?
Yeah, I suppose a lot of businesses can find that there is an abundance of paperwork and you have all of your compliance documents in addition to your daily recording of temperatures and good inwards and goods outwards, and you have product specifications. So we can streamline that entire process. Our goal really is to create something that's user-friendly rather than creating a compliance document that's put on a shelf and isn't taken down until the EHO is on site. We'll create something that you're using and that can be a benefit and a strategic advantage to your business in terms of the management of compliance. So if it is the case then that there's a regulatory inspection or an inspection by a key customer such as Dunnes Stores or Aldi or Lidl, it means that you're audit ready for those types of inspections and you have a document that works for you rather than against you.
So paper trail is key, really, isn't it?
It is, and creating something, that's not overcomplicated and keeping it as simple and user-friendly as possible.
I'm just thinking of from honey producers to pig meat to whatever. Yeah. I mean, there's such a range there, and it must be so challenging for those people.
Yes.
But then for ye to adapt to the different needs must be challenging as well, is it?
I mean, I suppose that's our role, and we're working with all types of food businesses, and really the principles are the same. So you're following the flow of food within a business and identifying what could potentially go wrong to jeopardise the safety of that food item. So there is a certain formula that you're following, and you'll apply it to the situation that you're in. Because even for two honey producers, the management of compliance within those two businesses can actually be very different in reality. So it's about creating something that's bespoke for the business.
And you mentioned the farmers' markets at the outset, and they're popping up all over the country. Yeah. It's not just for that, but the customer who's visiting needs to know that where they are going, who they're visiting, is certified, is up to standard. What should a member of the public be looking for if they have any doubt or anything? Is there a telltale that should be?
Yeah, I think customers are very aware of standards, and they're kind of aware of the telltale signs. I suppose kind of general hygiene requirements are always something that you look out for, that the premises is clean, that the person serving you has a good standard of personal hygiene, that they're wearing protective equipment. And of course, then, within a farmer's market, you have particular challenges associated with that, including things like hand washing or the management or the handling of food items and cash. So just ensuring that proper practices are in place and that there's good use of gloves or hand washing, or that you've a separate person serving food and handling cash.
I'm just thinking of the navigation that's involved. There's an awful lot of navigation that needs to be done. It's a bit like driving an aeroplane in a way, where you've got your controls and your directions. Yeah. The fact that you are an Occupli company where there are other areas being looked after in the health and safety realm, be it working at height or manual handling, CPR, they all seem to fit like a glove, hand in a glove, don't they? Yeah,
they do. They marry well together. Our clients have requirements, obviously, initially in the food safety area, but really looking at kind of the wider picture, our client companies also have requirements for first aid, for health and safety, for manual handling, for fire safety services. So being part of an Occupli, being part of the Occupli brand is a huge advantage to our clients, because it means that we can provide a much wider suite of services and support them in other areas other than food safety. So it's been very beneficial, both for us working within the business, but for our clients also.
What do you like most about your job?
I come from a food production background. I grew up within a family business, and it's in our family actually since 1892. So the food industry is something that's really important to me and that I'm very passionate about. And definitely I think my favourite part of the job is just working with so many different food producers, and everyone is very passionate about the products that they're producing and they're supplying and the customers that they're serving. And that's something I really enjoy. Every day is different and it's very varied, and I like the profile of client that we're working with.
Mairead, thank you so much for talking.
Thanks, John.
If you would like more information, please visit our website, occupli.com. Occupli, putting safety to work for over 25 years.